Weather Network. We've got a lot to talk about because we are dealing with activity in the tropics. We have Beryl that has formed in the past couple of hours. We also are still keeping an eye on a frontal system that's working its way through the northeast. And that's where we'll begin, with the radar showing us where some of that activity has been kind of a mess of rainfall, if you will, across Michigan into Ohio, parts of New York State. As you work your way along the tail end of this boundary, there are some thunderstorms, too, that have been pretty impactful. Kansas City dealing with some tornado warnings overnight around the metro area. So we've been dealing with those thunderstorms dying down a little bit as they drift their way to the south. Activity in Florida has quieted down, but we'll see that build back up as we head through the afternoon. So expect those thunderstorms around Orlando. Light to moderate rainfall kind of streaming its way through some of the thumb of Michigan as you work south around Detroit. It's been those passing showers then going on in central Pennsylvania, dodging the showers and thunderstorms, but we're hoping to dodge activity in the tropics. Unfortunately, we have had a new named storm in the past couple of hours. This is Beryl. As we look at it across the central Atlantic, there's also a couple of different areas of activity, including a tropical wave towards the Yucatan and another one behind Beryl itself. Let's break down a little bit of this really quickly. Want to hit on that tropical wave in the Yucatan could form as we head into tomorrow across some of the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. It's got a little less than a 50-50 shot, so if it does develop, it would just mean mostly rainfall, some wind from Mexico, areas that have already been impacted by Alberto earlier this season, but overall not a huge story in the grand scheme of things. As we work our way, though, into the Atlantic, we are talking about Tropical Storm Beryl as it pushes into the Caribbean, too, by the way. And that'll be sometime in through Sunday night, I should say throughout the day on Monday. Monday into Tuesday, it works its way through the Caribbean. Wednesday and Thursday, the 4th of July, it is in the Caribbean, probably a little west of Jamaica. So that's in the northwestern Caribbean where we're most likely finding that track. Not out of the woods for us to deal with some tropical potential from this storm in the U.S., but the reason why it'll be pushing its way towards the Caribbean is because of the Bermuda High. That's keeping things pretty strong, pretty well shunted to the south as dry air and shear is found to its north. So because it's in that area of no shear, a lot of warm water, this is why it was able to develop pretty quickly and why it's going to strengthen. Once it gets into the Caribbean, there's still some question as to where it goes later next week, and it will depend on this upper high, how much impact that will have on whether it can turn northward and pull towards the Gulf of Mexico, or whether it might have more impacts towards Central America. So we will have to keep an eye on this, but again, that's going to be around the time frame of the 4th when we'll be seeing more transition as to where it will go after that. Up to that point, though, it is going to be a hurricane, so winds more than 80 miles there. That's Midway Airport there in Chicago. And Chicago's speaking with us here as we continue through this weekend. We are talking about some more changes as we go through the upcoming days. Of course, that can mean the risk for severe. Watching that severe thunderstorm threat move into the northeast, but there's still going to be some strong thunderstorms here across some of the north central and central U.S. Drier air, though, invading the region, so big-time changes as you work your way into places like Fargo, 72 for that high, 71 in Sioux Falls. Chicago starting off with some showers and thunderstorms, as is St. Louis. Most of that moisture will be pushing its way off towards the southeast. So if we get you going through your day, again, middle of the day here, we're still dealing with some of those showers and thunderstorms, but this boundary is continuing to work its way southeast, so it's out of Chicago more Americans than any other severe weather, and that's why AccuWeather is introducing the AccuWeather Heat Wave Counter and Severity Index. And AccuWeather's Emmy Victor reports on the new exciting tools that this scale tracks the duration and severity of heat waves. Well, in the western U.S., we're talking about that heat building back in. It's really going to get cranking as we go through the middle and later part of the week. So just in time for the 4th of July holiday, there will be records challenged in states like California. First, though, before we get there, we do have a drier trend across the southwest. Not as much in the way of thunderstorm activity. We'll see that over Colorado and New Mexico, but it'll be spotty in nature. Really, the story is the heat slowly starting to build. Salt Lake City 100. We keep a few showers out there for your Sunday, so as we're closing out the weekend, heading into the holiday week, there will be a little bit of moisture, but Portland, upper 70s for you. A pretty nice day there. We're still at 100, though, for the high in Salt Lake City, 110 in places like Las Vegas. So a lot of heat there. It continues to build in places like Sacramento.